And hello again, YouTube. Shooting once again on the iPhone because I'm pretty close to being out of space on the Obama phone. You know, it was the point I was shooting everything on the iPhone because it looked better, but I've found that video at night in the car, for reasons that make little sense to me, seems to look better on the Obama phone. But yeah, this phone's got plenty of space, the iPhone. So iPhone 7 Plus. So shooting on that. Anyway, it is still Friday night. Technically early Saturday morning. Saturday, August 20th, 12:53 a.m. And just rolling out of the Dewdrop Inn. Had a pretty good time there for as little as I spent there. Just had nothing but a pint of Bud Light, because I don't have Miller Lite on draft. Whatever, it's more or less the same mediocre beer. Was hoping to play the Mega Touch machine, but somebody else was already camped in front of it. Yeah, last time I played the Mega Touch machine here, it worked really, really good. Then again, the last time I played the Mega Touch machine over at Finish Line, it also worked really, really good. I don't know if I mentioned that in the last video, but oh my god, tried to play some Word Dojo on the Mega Touch machine, and that screen, it needs calibrated bad. And I'm not even 100% sure if calibration will fix it, because generally speaking, if it's a calibration issue, I can usually get a feel for how the calibration is off, and play the game and just always kind of touch it off in the same way. But it seemed pretty inconsistent, so it could be that touchscreen is just finally shit the bed. I don't know, but I mentioned it to the bartender. Actually, I didn't even want to mention it to the bartender. Somebody else mentioned it to the bartender, and he was just like, "Yeah, I can't do nothing about that." I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't figure you would." I put in $1. I won like 2 free games because I'm still damn good at Word Dojo regardless. But yeah, normally when I play Word Dojo, I get about I generally get about 1.2 million when I'm playing, and I'm on it. But yeah, I couldn't. I don't think I cracked 700,000. Just the screen just was not cooperative at all. But I'm still good at the damn game. Like, I was still able to, you know. I mean, 700,000 is more than most people score on Word Dojo, so there's that. And so yeah, I got, you know, the #1 score, then got the #1 score again. So I've got a couple free games, but I ended up rolling out of there with 2 credits on the damn thing, because yeah, by the time I was done with my beer, I'm like, I'm not even enjoying playing this game. This screen is pissing me the fuck off. Anyway, kind of hoping to play a little more Word Dojo over at Dewdrop Inn, but somebody beat me to the machine, and I only have one machine. But cool, I had a great conversation with the bartender and a handful of people that were at the bar, and we all got on the subject of karaoke at Dewdrop Inn without me being the one to bring it up. Somebody else was just like, "God, wish there was." It's like, "God, I just want to be doing karaoke right now." I'm like, really? Where's the place to go for karaoke in this neighborhood? And there were a couple of places that were mentioned, both of which I would not say are particularly close, especially when you consider how many people like to go to bars in Sunny Slope and walk there, or, you know, stay within Sunny Slope. I would say both bars that were mentioned were not particularly in Sunny Slope, like Dewdrop Inn is in Sunny Slope. So yeah. Bartender probably told me more about the finances of that bar than she should have, but that was good knowledge to know. And it was like, well, actually, and the funny thing was like, oh, I actually know, I actually know the manager pretty well. I've talked to her before. I've got a pretty good in with her. And they're like, and they said something blah blah blah. Well, you wouldn't be talking to, and they said a name that I never heard before. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's who I'm talking about. Who would be the person to talk to? And they're like, oh, you need to talk to Joyce. I'm like, yeah, that's who I know. I talk to Joyce all the time. So yeah, the bartender was kind of surprised when I was like, oh yeah, like Wander Inn is my regular watering hole. Like, I see her in the morning, you know, whenever I'm day drinking. And she's like, wait, what? Like, yeah, I live walking distance from Waterhead. Like, that's my spot. I just come here because it's kind of nostalgia for me, and I like this spot. She's like, oh. It's like, well, God, if you know Joyce, make it happen. The bartender is all for it. The regulars that were hanging out in there, all for it. And it was some woman that she looked. I'll be honest, she looked vaguely familiar to me. She's like, I think I know you. I've seen you before. And then started talking, and I guess she recognized me from the bar that I went to last weekend. Bridget's Last Laugh. She's like, didn't you used to sometimes go sing at Bridget's Last Laugh? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh God, yeah, something blah blah blah, Terry. And I'm like, oh my God, Terry, like one of the greatest karaoke DJs ever. And we just started talking about Terry. She says that she knows him, that he's on her Facebook. I still absolutely don't do Facebook, don't do Instagram. Yeah, if it's controlled by Mark Zuckerberg, hard pass for me. But yeah, she said Terry's on her Facebook, and I'm like, oh my God, like, send him a message, tell him Dan the karaoke man says hi. And she's like, what? Wait. And I said, yeah, Dan the karaoke man, or Dan the taxi man. He knows me as both. And then like somehow we started talking about taxis, because one of the other gals that was sitting up by me, I guess used to own like 5 taxis. So her and I started talking shop about taxis. I was a little disappointed nobody remembered Express Cab, but Express Cab existed from 1993 to 1995, so that's way back in time. It's not something I expect a lot of people to remember, but I should be turning left here. I'm in the wrong lane, but I'm gonna do it anyway. But yeah, I did mention that my original connection with that bar was as a cab driver, and how that bar was exceptionally supportive of my cab company during its duration and used me exclusively. And she was saying she operated her cabs. She told me the years and I forget. I want to say she said from like 99 to 2003. So yeah, there's definitely a disconnect. I mean, shit, those were the years I was largely in Tucson. So, but I don't know. Every now and then I mention Dan the taxi man, and people that have old school connections to the taxi industry are like, "Oh my God, you're that guy!" I'm like, yeah. But yeah. Anyways, very interesting conversations. People that are very, and most everybody that I talk to is very positive, very responsive to the thought of me doing karaoke there. So yeah, I do think Joyce and I got to have that conversation. I don't know where it'll go. Like I said, I feel like Joyce loves me and Joyce hates me simultaneously. I don't know. I've had some very interesting discussions with Joyce, but I'm certainly down to hit her up probably tomorrow. I don't expect her to be at the bar tonight. She's never there this late at night. I mean, my God, it's 1 a.m. I'll be lucky if I get a song in when I get there. But usually Joyce is there in the daytime, and I do want to try to pop by there. And I almost see Joyce I see Joyce almost every single time that I go there to have an after work drink at 6 a.m. After leaving Amazon. So, and when I've talked to Joyce about karaoke and whatnot, me DJing, I don't think I've ever even mentioned, like, we've talked about her being the manager at Dewdrop Inn, and I think we've talked about how I used to hang out at the Dewdrop Inn, and they used to use my taxis, and I was a cab driver, and then we've talked about karaoke, but I don't think that Joyce and I have ever discussed karaoke and Dewdrop Inn in the same conversation. And I'm kind of bewildered by the fact that that's not owned by Quinton. That's just wild that basically she has 2 jobs for 2 different employers that overlap in that way. But I mean, props to Joyce for managing her business that well. Anyway, so that's what's up with that. Yeah, I'm really itching for a new karaoke show, in case you hadn't noticed. I should probably try to get the story out about what happened over at Oz Bar tonight while it's still fresh in my mind. So, as I had mentioned, not in the last video, but the video before that, I think, it stemmed around Prince, She's Always in My Hair, being on karaoke version. Now, I've mentioned in several other videos where I'm talking about my karaoke library about how karaoke version works. And for what it's worth, karaoke version is based in France. So they're operating under French copyright laws, which are a little bit different than United States copyright laws. But they, and as I've mentioned in other videos, and I'm just going to reiterate here, basically, they provide more than just karaoke, your traditional video file with scrolling lyrics and an instrumental. They provide multi-track where you can do custom tracks minus like one, custom tracks minus like one instrument if you want to practice an instrument. They do instrumental karaoke where it's just a backing instrumental for you to sing over the top of, with or without backing vocals, as well as demo versions so you can download it and kind of learn the song. And then, of course, your regular karaoke videos. They also have a streaming service known as Carafun. I mentioned that before. So Carafun and karaoke version very intrinsically tied to each other. And whenever they add a new song, like it initially gets added as an instrumental version, and then people will request, hey, we want the karaoke video for this. And then the link where you request the karaoke video becomes a link to the page where the karaoke video is to order it or download it. And until at some point where somebody decides, we're not going to allow that, like we're going to pull rank on the copyright of the lyrics and not allow you to have that, at which point it'll say karaoke is not available for this song. And one artist, there are several artists that are known for doing that. Give you the short list. Pink Floyd, Garth Brooks, I was wanting to say Glenn Frey, but that's the wrong eagle. Glenn Frey has always been cool with karaoke. Don Henley, that's the eagle that doesn't like his stuff available for karaoke. Don Henley, and then of course as a result of Don Henley, the Eagles as well. U2 also on that list, and the artist specifically that's regularly showed up on that list and has been an issue with copyright karaoke is Prince. And so a couple of days ago, an instrumental popped up on karaoke version for Prince, She's Always in My Hair. Phenomenally good song, B-side. B-side to Paisley Park if you're from Europe, or B-side to Raspberry Beret if you're from the United States. And it's also featured in the B-sides, or the hits and B-sides compilations. Those are two different compilations. It's a Prince song. Prince fans know it's a Prince song that non-Prince fans have probably never heard of. But anyway, She's Always in My Hair. Absolutely classic Prince song from around the time that Around the World in a Day came out. And enough people asked for it for karaoke that the instrumental popped up, which of course got my attention when that showed up on karaoke version. When I got the email from them telling me, hey, this instrumental is available, I was basically sitting at home and I voted for it for a karaoke track, and then I was regularly just refreshing the web page to see, hey, did they put the lyric video up? Did they put the lyric video up? Because I expected, and this has happened with other Prince tracks with them before, and then other tracks they put out with other artists that don't like to have their lyrics available for karaoke, where it's come up and it's been available for purchase. And if you buy it during that window, right when it comes up, before somebody goes, oh, no, we didn't clear the copyright on that. And mind you, they don't have to clear the copyright in advance. because they're in France. In France, basically, you can just simply pay the royalties. You can just put it out. You don't need to get permission. You just put it out and pay the royalties. Now, the copyright holder can be like, no, we don't want this out there, and then they can stop you from putting it out. But you don't need to get their permission in advance, unlike what United States karaoke producers have to do. Which is why there's really not any karaoke produced in the United States anymore. Almost all karaoke at this point is coming from elsewhere, except for like the indie scene, and they kind of they're flying under different rules. They're all basically streaming on YouTube as opposed to adding offering media for sale and download, or running their own streaming services. Anyway, I guess I need to get to the story pretty quick because I'm also going to wander in. Anyway, so and I've mentioned this in several different one of my vlogs, that this is out and that I stayed up and I downloaded it, and so I've been watching it, and I've been kind of surprised that something from Prince has gone like more than a few hours without being suddenly flagged for copyright and lyric video no longer being available. I mean, Party Man, I think, was up for less than 24 hours. I put it in my cart. I didn't buy it immediately. Fucking 17, 18 hours later, I checked my cart and it's gone. And then I checked that page. It's like, oh, not available for karaoke. I'm like, fuck, it's a Prince song. I know better. What was I thinking? Should have just download that immediately. So anyway, not making that mistake on She's Always in My Hair. I'm not even such a big fan. I mean, I don't dislike the song Party Man, but I'm not that into the song Party Man. But She's Always in My Hair, I mean, for me, on a scale of 1 to 10 on Prince songs, that's a solid 9.5. Love that song. So, yeah, I was making sure I got that. I was staying up and refreshing the page and trying to make sure I got that window, and even downloaded it on my phone just in case they tried to block it from being, from further downloads, which I've never seen Karaoke Version do, but I've seen other karaoke companies do that. So just covering my ass, making sure I have that file on a device that is mine that I can export from. Anyway, as I've been mentioning, I'm expecting that one to go dark. So since Ozbar uses Carafun, the first thing I did when I got there was I searched to see if it was still available, and sure as shit it was. And so I put it in, and it showed up on the Carafun website, where you can request your songs for hosts that, for karaoke hosts that use Carafun. And it was on the list, but as soon as it came time for the song to play, the splash screen came up, and then the screen went black, and it just stopped. And the KJ told me that it gave him a pop-up that said, this file is not available. At which point, the guy that owns the system was there, who I've never seen or met before, and he went to him for help. Oh God, I want to talk more of the story, but it's 1:10, and I want to get inside some songs. Anyway, long story short, apparently Karaoke Version got around to blocking it as blocking it for karaoke between the time that I went on the website and requested it to sing and the time that the KJ went to play it for me, which couldn't have been more than about 15-20 minutes. And then there was, I want to say, probably about 15 minutes of dead time in the show while the owner was just going nuts trying to make it play, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, it got cut for copyright. Like, I'm thinking to myself, and I'm bewildered that they're not knowledgeable that that's a thing. But anyway, I'm gonna say more of the story later. I'm gonna get inside. I have to pee. But yeah. So I even looked it up on Karaoke Version just to see, and sure as shit, where the link would be to download the karaoke track had been replaced with the text saying karaoke's not available for this song. And I showed that to the KJ, and the KJ and I, he's awesome. The guy's a total sweetheart. He was at Gary's show Wednesday night. I was hoping he was going to be at my show last night. He wasn't, but he's promised me he's going to come hit it up one of these Thursdays. That guy has always treated me like gold. And I wish I could remember his name, but that guy's awesome. I would, if I picked up that bar, or even another gay bar, he'd probably be my first choice for person to host the show for me if it was on a night I couldn't host myself, just because and he's not a good singer. He's straight up not a good singer, and he doesn't even have the best DJ voice. I mean, that he's got that stereotypical hey kind of gay thing going on, but he's personable and friendly and outgoing, and I'm not even those things. So, yeah, he's what I'd look for in a host. And I do think he could probably run good sound if he had a system where he had the option to run good sound. The system as it is over at Oxbar, it's a train wreck. Anyway, the guy that was running it was just a complete dickhead to me. I'm going to go into more detail in the next video as far as what actually happened. But anyway, I'm going to go inside. I want to sing some songs, and I need to pee. Anyway, thanks for coming on this drive, and like and subscribe and all that happy YouTube shit.